Okay, so for today's session, 2 Franklin balls and or a couple of tennis balls and a soft Pilates ball is always helpful. Plus cushions, a cushion as well if needs be. Okay, I'll be with you. Okay. Right. Let's get going. So, one moment, please. I need to go and get my Franklin balls. Hold on. That was a classic. I have two. I have four actually, but I use them, so I didn't bring them back up here. Okay, so take your Franklin balls. We're going to lie down, and we're going to pop these underneath the bottom. So if I were to point where they are just where you're from the front. You point to where they are from the front. They're just a little bit in from your knicker line, a little bit lower, so on the lower rib edge of your of the extremities of your pelvis on either side. Okay, so if you take your pelvis on the pointy bits on the pelvis, slide down and across just before you get to sort of just cut down and across a tiny weeny little bit, so maybe 2 fingers away. That's thereabouts where I have placed my balls. Of course, we're all made differently, so if that position doesn't feel comfortable, then have a place where it feels comfortable. It is going to be on the buttocks, and they are quite close towards where your buttock cheeks join. Okay, so just let the body sink into the pelvis and sink into the balls. So these Franklin balls are really great because they're squidgy, but you could also have tennis balls as well. So we're just going to roll the pelvis away from the body. So you start to get a lowering by the navel. And then you want to slide your pelvis towards the body, so you're getting a longer line from the navel down towards the pubic bone. And then again, slide away and slide towards. So we'll call this pelvic clock because we often put a face, an imaginary face like Big Ben on the top of it, where your navel is at 12 and the pubic bone is at 6. So when I'm saying away from the body, you're tipping your pelvis so the 12, which is the navel, drops down, and then away from the body when the pubic bone part of the pelvis, the 6 of the clock, drops away. And again, rolling forwards and backwards. Just gently does it. Allow the apex of the ball just to ride along and around the pubic bone and the buttock cheeks. And then I just want you to press down into your right foot and lengthen your right thigh bone. You'll notice that you'll have a bigger imprint of the ball on your left hip joint, and the ball underneath the right hip joint will soften a little bit in terms of pressure. And then you press down on the left foot, lengthen the left thigh bone. You'll notice that there's a little bit more pressure on under the right hip and less pressure on under the left hip. And so we switch from side to side now, just pressing into the foot and lengthening the thigh bone away. So these points are 3 and 9. So you're sliding from 3 to 9. So note we've done 12 and 6, and where we're doing 3 and 9. With the 3 and 9, we're using our feet and our thigh bones to integrate the movement. You might want to place your hands around your waist. So just put your fingers around where your waist is. If you notice that you're creasing your waist, I want you to put less thought into what you are doing. More thought into pressing the foot down and lengthening the thigh bone. Less thought about moving the pelvis. Sometimes when we think about the pelvis too much, we can end up moving it up towards the waist rather than just allowing it to tip down because of the natural movement of the foot and the leg. So it's natural movement because this is the move that you make when you walk. Okay, and then just soften back down. Just let the pelvis just drop here onto the balls again. And then just slowly lift those legs up so the knees are bent and you're at 90 degrees. You'll feel a little bit more pressure on the balls right now. Press your thigh bones away from your body. Draw your knees towards you. Press the thigh bones away. Draw your knee bones towards you. Press the thigh bones away. Draw your knee bones towards you. Press the thigh bones away. Draw your knee bones towards you. Now bring your arm bones up towards the ceiling. And then keep on moving the legs gently. Notice the connection around the abdominals. As you lengthen the legs away, move the arms away a little bit. And back. You only want to do it as much as you move the legs away and move the arms away, same. So it's not about bringing the arms all the way to the ears. Just the same time it takes to move the legs away, you move the arms away. Breathing, softening the jaw, allowing the back of the throat to be soft. Eye gaze on the ceiling. Okay, now stop here for one moment, come back to the beginning. And then lengthen the front leg and the back arm away. Come back. Front arm, back leg away. And back. Front arm, back. Front leg, back arm. Front arm, back leg. And again. Front leg, back arm. Back leg, front arm. Just gently does it, breathing, allowing the balls to sink into your flesh of your buttocks. That's it. A few more. Good. And then just bring the knees to the hands. And just let the balls roll as you bring the pelvis, as you turn the pelvis, as you bring the knees in. And then as you send the knees away, and let the feet come towards the mat. Notice how the balls change. Bring the knees in. Let the thigh bones come towards the body. And again, coming back. Knees come towards the body. And back. Drop the feet down. Bring the balls, the Franklin balls, the tennis balls away from the pelvis. Let the pelvis sink down. And then we're going to roll onto the side, find a space just in the triangle above the shoulder blade towards the spine. That space in between, above the top of the shoulder blade to where the spine is. We're just going to roll back onto that, and then we're going to roll onto the other side, place the ball in the opposite side. Okay. And just arrange them so they fit on your body. If your head feels a little bit like it's going back a little bit too much, just slide a cushion underneath your head. So mine a little bit awkward. So bring the arms up towards the ceiling. And I want you to just press into your feet and lift your pelvis up into a bridge. Soften down. And again, press down with the feet, lengthen the thigh bones. And drop down. And again. That's it, good. And then let's lengthen our arms out for 3. So sending the arms in an arc towards the ears, lengthening the thigh bones away. And dropping the bottom down, the pelvis down. And again, arms will only come to the 90-degree point. Lengthen the arms away and come back. There may be a little bit of, this may be exposing something going on in your arm. So just be gentle with yourself here. And just let everything softly move. So good. Opening the arms out. Sinking down as you come back. Just allowing the arms at the back of the shoulders to enjoy the move, the pressure, just gently opening up that part of the body. And again. And then bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, and we'll go into a little bit of a chest lift series. If, of course, the balls are starting to be slightly painful or discomforting, then please remove them if you would like to. Bring your elbows up towards the ceiling, press the head into the hands and the hands into the head, and eye gaze moves from ceiling to your mid-thighs. Find that connection between the rib cage and the navel. And then start to lengthen back. Draw your head away from your head, neck and shoulders. Press down. Eye gaze from ceiling to mid-thighs. Breathing out as you come into that chest lift. And again. And then back. So staying here, I feel the need that I need to roll myself just slightly over the balls a little bit more. So I invite you to do that if you'd like to too. So they end up being a little bit lower than your shoulder blades. And then lengthen away again and come into that chest lift. So sort of a live demo on how you can use the balls to work with what your spine is asking you within the same move. Of course, if that's not available, it's not right for you today, then you don't need to do it. You can just stay where you are, or if it's a bit too intense, then you can also just take them away and do chest lifts normally. So we're coming up now, we're going to stay in, and then if you have rolled, maybe you want to roll a little bit more. Okay, just a small part. So now mine are just around where my bra strap would be. So that's sort of just here, just around here. So it's the top of my spine. And then lengthening away again. And back. And away. So I'm moving the cushion away from me just to give myself a little bit of movement in the extension. So sometimes in some positions we can be fine with extensions. But in other positions, our spines need a little bit more support. Or it depends on whether you're doing extensions or what part of, how warmed up your body is. So right now I feel like I need to create more extension. So that's hence why the cushion has now left the mat or thereabouts. And then we're going to come back into that rounded back. So rib cage connection. So you're up here in the chest lift. And then I invite you to roll down a little bit more. So maybe the balls are closer to your waist now. So mine are around here. Just sort of like a half turn that I give them. And coming back over. So now my extension is not as supported as it was when the balls were slightly higher up. So it's also giving a more connection on my abdominals, but also it is making me think a little bit more about the movement that I'm making and the requirement for the control and the connection that I am giving my body and my spine as I articulate it over the balls. Good. It's also giving my abs the opportunity to have a bit of a jiggle. And again. Okay, so I'm going to say now, just do one more and then bring your knees in, place your hands around your thigh bones. Bring yourself in with your hands and your knees just to give yourself a little bit of a hug. Then we're going to lengthen the legs up towards the ceiling. We're going to flex the feet. We're going to point the feet. Still keeping a connection on the legs. Point the feet, flex the feet. Eye gaze up towards the feet as well. That's it, good. And then if you are able to, maybe slide your hands up towards your calves. If you can't, don't worry, just keep them there by the thighs. But just give them a little bit of a slide maybe. Point the toe. Just remember also to keep your shoulders nice and soft. Make sure that the shoulders are lovely and soft and spacious. And then maybe you can reach up just a little bit more if you'd like to. Or maybe that's enough. Maybe you want to go back down to the thighs. And then let's just bend the knees here and then draw the legs up. So gently just touching the sides of the legs. Lengthening so you're not holding, you've just got your palms placed on the sides of the legs as you lengthen them up and bend the knees. Now place your hands behind the thighs, press into the thighs and come up to seated. Perfect. Okay, take a cushion underneath your bottom. Actually, maybe let's just have a seat on the, sit on the Franklin balls as well. And notice the space that actually creates in the spine. So by actually sitting on them roughly where you were lying on them, and notice the difference of how they feel. So I've got my Franklin balls underneath the bottom, each buttock, and flexing our feet. So if you have, so when you're sitting down with your legs long, you may, if you took a side view of yourself, you may see that your spine is a little bit rounded. That is really, really it really often happens with us humans. So in order to start thinking about how can I elevate and how can I lengthen my spine in sitting in a nice, fluid, flexible way, just pop a couple of cushions or one cushion underneath, and just doing this, placing the balls underneath, it could also help just open up the pelvis. It's all about giving space with the pelvis, and you don't want your hip flexors to start getting grippy either, which is what this really helps and supports. Okay, so we're just going to nod our head down towards our breastbone. You're going to let the rib cage slide, so we're going into flexion here. We're going to lengthen the arm bones in front towards the ankle. Draw the fingertips up towards the toes and just let your arm bones hang towards or lengthen towards the toes. I want your feet to be upright, your heels to be pressed away from you as though you were standing up. Ears are by your arms. And we're just reaching forward, reaching forward, reaching forward. Doesn't matter where you end up or where you started or where you wish to be. You just want to think, let's go a little bit further forward. Let's just reach with the arms. But again, make sure that the shoulders are nice and soft. Drop the hands down and then curl up from the front of the spine. Draw the arms along the legs again. Just let them slide. Nose to chest. Slide the rib cage down towards the navel. Just see where your arms end up. Maybe they end up just beyond the feet. Maybe they just end up towards the knees. Just float your arms up. Let your head and your neck float out of your shoulders. Let your arms come up to around your ears. Really feel like you're turning your pelvis up towards the ceiling here. And then drop your head, neck and shoulders down. Draw the fingertips up towards the pelvis as you curl up from the front of the spine. Lovely. And again, draw the arms up towards the shoulders. Head, neck, come down towards the rib cage. Slide along, imaginary, and then just drop your hands down. Or maybe bring them, and then just draw them back up towards the ears. Lengthen the arms forward just a little bit, keeping the shoulders soft. Nice and open in the lower back. Drop the hands down, slide back up from the front of the spine. Bend the knees, keep the feet flat. Come up to sitting. Bring your arms out in front of you. Start to turn your rib cage around. Eye gaze in the imaginary middle between the arms. And then come towards the middle again. Turn away to the back of the mat. Again, eye gaze in the imaginary middle of your arms. And again. So notice you might need to rearrange your head position because you might find that you're looking over here or looking over there. But just check that your head and your neck are moving in sync with the shoulders. And staying where it is rather than moving the rotation, extending the rotation with the neck and the head, which is very easy to do. And then come over to the front of the mat. Place the front hand behind you. Place the back hand around your outside edge of your calf, and just encourage a rotation around. Feel like you're growing upwards as you do this. I'm pressing into my fingers just to really give a reciprocal churn. Widening my shoulders. And hearing a little click in my back. Bring your arms up and over. come down with the back hand. Front hand just presses against the back calf, and just encourage that rotation. Just turn, 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 encourage that rotation. And come over towards the front of the mat again, pressing the palm of the hand into the top of the calf and rotate. So that press gives a really nice connection up and across the arms. And then around again. Press, 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 press. Okay. Bring your feet together and your knees apart. And drop your head down and come forwards, letting your arm bones just come forwards towards the mat. Head goes towards the feet. Widen the shoulders. Curl up from the front of the spine. Come up to standing. Come up to sitting, sorry. And just lengthen, just place your hands around the front of your knee and just create an extension by pressing into the front of your knee. Eye gaze goes up to sort of where the ceiling and the wall meets, but probably a little bit lower. So you can feel the connection of the shoulder blades coming together because of the fact that you're pressing against. Even if your knees are quite high, maybe bring the arms down a little bit. So you've got long arms. You want to be able to be using your legs to press into your hands and your hands to press into your legs to encourage a spinal extension. And then nose to chest, curl down. Lengthen away with the fingertips, just sink, 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 sink. Widen the shoulders, drop the head. Imagine that someone's holding you around your skull around your ears and just lengthening your skull away from your neck. And curl up. Place your hands where you feel like you can grow really tall with your spine. So it can be lower, can be higher on your knees or your shins, that doesn't matter. Position doesn't really matter. What I want you to do is I want you to press your hands into your legs and then encourage an extension to happen through your rib cage. Eye gaze can travel up the wall and you keep a really nice wide open shoulder. And then eye gaze comes down, flowing through into a flexion with their head coming towards the feet. Another way of doing this is to just send your feet out a little bit further. You don't actually need your legs to be your feet to be really close to you. Because the closer your feet are, the less opportunity that your knees have to drop out to the side. So you can always bring your feet really far away from you and just keep your knees bent there. So just push them out a little bit further, Have a play with the distance. So I can even put mine like this. So just lengthening so they're nearly, just keeping your feet together as much as possible. This gives a little bit more space for the legs to externally rotate. Press your hands on the part of your legs that you find. I like my knees, but you may like your shins. And just press and just open up, lengthen from the pubic bone. Just let this rib cage turn upwards so your breastbone starts to shine up towards the ceiling. Drop your chin down, just check in with that. And then come back. take the balls away from underneath you and notice how your pelvis feels without them. And then maybe in that you'll start to notice the difference in the height. Okay, let's take the cushion away as well. And let's go onto our sides. So let's lie onto our sides and bend the knees. So you can have the cushion here actually if you'd like. You can lie down with the cushion in between your arm, or you can have you can lie on your forearm like this. If you do happen to be on your forearm, just don't sink down to it, because it's really easy just to sink into the shoulder, and the ear comes down, and there's no muscle integrity in the top part here. So that's why actually sometimes I prefer to be lying down, because I don't have to worry about compromising my shoulder girdle. So bending your knees, bring your legs back a little bit, and just start to lift up the top thigh bone, and then draw, slowly allow it to soften down. Top thigh bone, soften down. Top thigh bone, soften down. I like placing my hand on my pelvis just to give myself that little bit of reassurance, but just also to check how the just to check that my pelvis is still stacking up on each other. And then lift it up, and then pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and come down and up, come down and up, down and up. 2 more, 1 more. Hold here and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down and up. 4 more. And just notice where the bones and the muscles are moving from. 2 more. And hold here. Pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slow it down. Just bring that top leg forward. Lengthen the bottom leg out. And just slide your leg away. Just find that softening of the muscle here. And then just roll back onto your side. Bend the knees back so you're back on top again. Lengthen the front leg, the top leg out. Flex the foot, point the toe. Flex the foot, point the toe. Flex the foot, point the toe. Flex the foot, come forward. Point the toe, go reverse. Flex the foot, come forward. Point the toe, reverse. Still pressing down with this bottom leg. And also feeling a connection across the waist as you do this. And I would prefer you to do really small moves rather than fast big ones. And again. And then flex the foot, bring the knee in, press the foot away. Bend the knee in, press the foot away. Imagine that you've got a really heavy box here. Knee in, press the foot away. Knee in, press the foot away. Point the toe and circles, mini circles, one way. And reverse. Drop down. Again, bend the knee. Just slide open there. And then come back. We're going to come up. We're going to turn around to the other side. And again, you can come up. If you were here, then you can come up here, but just remember about sinking down into your shoulder girdle. Or you can place your arm long, put a cushion in between your arms, or you don't have to put your cushion in between your arms, and just hold yourself here. So place your hand on your pelvis, press down with the lower leg to create stability and find that connection across the midline. Draw the thigh bone up and down. 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 And up and down. And then we're going to come all the way up and we're going to press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and down for 5 and up, down and up, down and up. 2 more, 3 more, sorry, 1 more. Press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up, and press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Soften down, bend the knee, coming out and over, just finding that space in that glute, and then roll back. Just feel like you're lengthening the pelvis away, just straighten the leg in front. Point the toe, point the toe, point the toe. Maybe play with lengthening the leg and allowing the rib cage and the waist to lengthen. Press the foot, point the toe, press the foot, point the toe, press the foot, point the toe, press the foot, point the toe. Flex the ankle, come forward, point the toe and back. Stabilize yourself by pressing the lower leg down. That's it, good. Excellent. 1 more. And bend the knee. Press away something really heavy. Bend the knee. Press a really heavy box away. Bend the knee. Press away. Keep connecting down with that lower leg. And then point the toe and circle. Small circles. Moving from your hip joint and reverse. Bend the knee and then just roll over. Whilst we're here, let's come over onto our fronts. And then come onto our forearms. Move the cushion away if you've got one. And I'd like you to just come onto your feet are pressed down. And I want you to just lengthen from the pubic bone out of your shoulders, so your ears are away from your shoulders. I want you to also now feel like you're moving your rib cage through your arms in a forward trajectory. Okay, just feel like you're moving. You could also press down and bring your arms, traction them towards me, so creating a connection in your arms, your forearms, your upper arms, and then soften down and just move your bottom around from side to side, coming up with the elbows, pressing down, connecting across. As you come up, press down with the arms, traction the elbows towards me, and just feel like you're moving your rib cage forwards. So you're just pressing, putting pressure down on your hands and your forearms, and you're sort of slightly, you're intending the move of your elbows to go towards your body, and then you're intending the movement of your rib cage to go through your arms. So just feel that connection. Just imagine it. If you can't feel it, it will come. Drop down. Just move your pelvis, wriggle your rib cage a little bit. And again, up we go. So slide the elbows into an A shape, press down with the forearms. As you press down with the forearms, you can feel that there's an immediate lift, a need to lift. Press down. Just feel like you're tractioning your elbows. You can't see anything, you can only feel it, and then feel like you're lengthening your rib cage, pressing it forwards. So there's a length from the pubic bone to the navel to the bottom of the ribs. Breathe here and then drop down. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your elbows towards your rib cage, and then keep your feet pressed down, and then I want you to press down with the heels of the hands and send your heels of your hands along towards whatever's in front of you. As you turn your elbows towards the floor, your rib cage starts to turn again. Now here, I want you to start to lift your feet off the floor, and then just lift your hands off the floor. Stay here and drop hands and feet down. And again, lengthen the legs out, turn the rib cage, turn the elbows, float upwards. Let's lift off the hands and the feet and drop down. And again, press down and along with the heels of the hands, lengthen the back arm bones as you turn the elbows towards the midline of the body, lengthen the legs away, float the arms up, and then come down. And press through the body, come up into child's pose, sink with your bottom towards your heels. Widen your hands, spread the hands nice and long. Think about widening your shoulders, just lengthening them away from each other. And then curl up to kneeling. Tuck your toes under. And place your hands underneath your shoulders. We're just going to roll the heels towards the mat. So we're in this kind of bent downward dog. And we're going to walk the hands towards the feet. Your knees can be bent here, or you can be long. So we're going to place, but I want to make sure that the hands are really supported on the floor, because we're going to walk out again. Into a plank. And then we're going to walk back to our feet. Knees bent, remember, or legs long, doesn't matter. And then we're going to walk out again. Really finding that plank position. And then take the back hand, tap the front shoulder. Take the front hand, tap the back shoulder. Tap, 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 and then walk in. And hang here. We're going to repeat that. Going to walk out. Tap, 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 and walk in. just hang here. One more time, we walk out. Tap, shoulder tap, shoulder tap, shoulder tap, 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 and then walk back. And just hang. Bend your knees maybe. Take a step forward if you're at the edge of the mat, come out wide. Sink your pelvis down. And just here, notice what goes on with your feet. Do you roll inwards? Do you roll outwards? And correct, sort of a course correct this is. Can you bring your arms up or not? Or do you want to place your feet, fingertips on the floor or in between your legs? Whichever works for you. And then tip yourself down. Lengthen your legs up. Bring your feet in to parallel. Press your feet into the floor as you lengthen up from the front of the spine. Coming up to standing. Float your right leg up, your knee just rises, dropping your shin bone down. And hold here. Maybe if you like, you can bring your arms up towards your ears or somewhere in between. You can also close your eyes if you'd like. Notice the difference that makes to your balance. Drop the foot down, hands come down the wall, nose to chest curl. Find the instep, find the inner thigh, curl up from the midline, front of the spine. Float the left knee up. Find your space. Again, if you'd like to, bring the arms up towards the ears or to the sides or behind, it really doesn't matter. Find your space. Close your eyes. If you'd like to, noting how much that changes your balance. And how different one leg is from the other. Drop your leg down, drop the hands down by the sides, just let the shoulders hang from the ears, away from the ears. And then just notice any changes that you have found, any differences that have appeared. And that's your class for today. Thank you very much.